Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce did everything they could to keep their wedding private. But leaked photos from the celebration are now helping fans spot hidden details almost nobody noticed at first. And the more people look, the more surprising discoveries they're making. Let's get into it. At 7:30 that evening, a marquee outside Madison Square Garden lit up in Midtown Manhattan. It read Justin T. Married, a play on the couple's first initials, TNT. People walking by started snapping photos immediately. And here's the detail almost everybody missed on first glance. The sign looked, more than one editor noted, uncomfortably close to an AT&T promotion, a wedding announcement that accidentally doubled as a phone company ad on a night when phones were the one thing banned from the building, because that's the real twist nobody clocked right away. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce banned phones, made guests sign NDAs, and hid their wedding behind a 180-foot tent. So the only reason anyone knows what happened inside is because the details leaked anyway, piece by piece, from people who weren't supposed to talk. Take the weather. Rain began falling in New York shortly after the marriage was announced, and Madison Square Garden itself lit up in a pinkish lavender color after the ceremony. Nobody planned that. It just happened, right as the couple became husband and wife. And fans standing outside in the rain watched the arena change color in real time. Then there's the car. Onlookers spotted arcade games and other unusual pieces of equipment being unloaded from MSG on Saturday morning, and a car was seen leaving the venue with a Justin T. MRD license plate, matching the Justin T. Married marquee outside the arena, a tiny wheeled-away detail that almost nobody was looking for, because everyone's eyes were on the tent and the marquee, not on a departing sedan. But the single biggest reveal of the night, the one that made even the guests do a double take, was who stood at the altar. Adam Sandler officiated the ceremony, according to Swift's publicist T-Pain, who confirmed that the Happy Gilmore actor married the couple, not a pastor, not a family friend nobody's heard of. The guy from Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Wedding guests were floored by Adam Sandler officiating the ceremony. Former NFL star Ryan Fitzpatrick revealed. Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid was there too, and he didn't hold back describing it. He called the wedding spectacular on a call with reporters, and he gave Swift the credit for pulling it together, saying it's normally not the groom doing the planning. So he gives Taylor a lot of credit for putting together a beautiful venue and wedding. Well planned out. Then Reid shared what Sandler actually said, standing up there in front of 1,000 people. Sandler told the couple to kiss her every chance they have, before bed, before work, because it's hard to argue when you're kissing somebody. And if there's a small argument, finish it with a kiss and work it out. Sandler and Kelce aren't just wedding day acquaintances either. Kelce and Sandler are longtime friends. The Chiefs tight end appeared in Happy Gilmore 2 in 2025. So this wasn't a celebrity for hire. It was a friend who happened to be famous, standing where a minister usually stands, cracking jokes about kissing to a room full of people who just watched two of the most photographed humans on the planet get married in secret. And the secrecy almost held. Public permits filed with the city gave away almost nothing specific, just a loading window and a tent application for a canopy or tent outside the garden. For an event involving up to 999 people, even the mayor of New York dodged questions about it days before, and the police commissioner would only say her department was tracking something happening at the garden that Friday night, without confirming what. But once the marquee lit up, the blackout was over. Guests started posting, then deleting. Family members started talking to reporters, even in small sound bites. And what came out over the next several days wasn't a polished press release. It was a scattered, deleted post, guest-by-guest account of a night that was, by every description, unlike anything else these celebrities had ever attended. That's where the real hidden details start, because the wedding itself is only half the story. The other half is in the things people weren't supposed to say, and said anyway. If there's one name that keeps surfacing in every account of this wedding, it's Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC Theaters. He was one of roughly 1,000 guests inside Madison Square Garden that night, and he did something none of the NDAs seemed to anticipate. He posted a full, detailed account of the wedding on social media in real time before quietly taking it down. His post is the closest thing anyone has to a first-hand walkthrough of the venue. He described walking in and not recognizing the building at all. Immediately upon entry, everything floors, walls, ceilings was draped in peach and white, he wrote. Then came the part that made people stop scrolling. Large blown-up pictures of Taylor and Travis at each age, year by year, from 1-year-old to late teenagerhood, were on display. A stadium that hosts basketball games and concerts turned into a photo timeline of two people's entire childhoods. He kept going. A small portion of MSG was cordoned off, devoid of any notion that a basketball or hockey game had ever shared that space. And somehow inside an arena in the middle of Manhattan, someone had magically created an outdoor garden at a lush countryside retreat. Guests kept calling it a secret garden, and that phrase stuck because it wasn't an exaggeration. Guests stepped into what was described as the couple's secret garden. Aaron didn't stop at decor. He described Swift's entrance and her dress, calling it a stunning white wedding dress with a long veiled train. And he said the vows themselves were long, entertaining, personal, charming, emotional, irreverent, and endearing explorations of their relationship. That single post ended up becoming the backbone of almost every other article written about the wedding afterward, because it was the only account with that level of specificity before he deleted it. He wasn't the only insider talking, though. Director Joseph Kahn also posted about the night before pulling it back, and his post revealed something nobody was expecting from a wedding guest list. He wrote that he got to meet Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw and talk filmmaking with, in his words, the GOAT, calling it a lifelong dream achieved. Spielberg wasn't a rumor. He was photographed leaving the venue that night. Then there's Donna Kelsey, Travis's mother, who gave one of the only on-record family reactions. Asked about the celebration days later at a public event in New York, she kept most details to herself but couldn't help but summarize the whole night in one word, repeated twice. She said the night was magical, man. Magical. Good Morning America's George Stephanopoulos was there too, and he gave one of the more descriptive on-camera reactions of anyone who attended. He called the transformed arena just so beautiful, describing the space as intimate, saying it was as intimate as it could possibly be given it was Madison Square Garden. This garden inside the garden, and that it was hard to imagine a place that big, with a wedding that star-studded, could feel so personal. His co-host Robin Roberts echoed the sentiment, both of them gushing about the secret garden setup on air. Even the vows themselves had a detail almost nobody clocked at first. Guests said Swift's speech included singing. According to People, the couple's vows took 20 minutes each and were read from gold books. And Swift's vows even included a bit of singing, according to sources who spoke with NBC News. Two people who spoke separately with NBC confirmed the format. Guests first walked through a tunnel lined with photos of the couple through the years, before stepping into the secret garden. And the ceremony itself was described as particularly moving. And then there was the toast, or rather, the one that reportedly went sideways. Reports emerged of a speech that drew audible reactions from the crowd. The kind of moment that spreads through a wedding in whispers before anyone official says a word. It's one of the loose threads still floating around from guests who won't go fully on record. The same way most of these details came out. Half confirmed, deleted, then confirmed again by somebody else standing 3 tables over. What's clear is that the blackout the couple tried to enforce, the NDAs, the banned phones, the tent, never really held. It just delayed things by a few days. And the reason it delayed rather than blocked entirely is that 1,000 people were in that room. And famous people talk, especially when they're this impressed by what they just watched. Every wedding has a moment where the room stops. At this one, it happened twice, and both times it involved music legends. Nobody expected to see holding a microphone in Madison Square Garden. After the ceremony wrapped, Swift's mother reportedly stepped in to guide guests toward the next part of the night. A source told People that after the ceremony, Swift's mother invited everyone into the reception room where the stage was set up. And that's when Paul McCartney walked out. The Beatles legend reportedly performed I Want to Hold Your Hand, a song McCartney hasn't publicly sung in decades. Stevie Nicks performed as well, and 2 separate guests confirmed both performances independently to NBC News, alongside a detail about the raffle that came later in the night. The reception wasn't just headline performers either. Guests described a full karaoke session breaking out, with Swift inviting Kesha up to join her on stage. That detail circulated widely among attendees who never expect a formal Manhattan wedding to end in a karaoke set. But this one reportedly did. Then there's the rehearsal dinner the night before, which several guests described as basically a wedding of its own. While Swift did not perform at the wedding itself, she did perform with Kelsey at the rehearsal dinner the night before, as the couple sang their favorite rock song together. That detail matters because it shows the couple wasn't hiding from a microphone. They just chose their moment carefully, saving the big-name performers for the actual wedding night, and keeping their own duet private to family and friends the evening before. The guest list itself became its own story. Country stars showed up early, and documented it themselves. Maren Morris shared a photo referencing Swift's blank space. Kelsea Ballerini posted her own snap from the festivities, and Brad Paisley and Kimberly Williams Paisley were also spotted heading in. Hollywood filled in the rest of the room. Actors Hugh Grant, Jason Sudeikis and Ethan Hawke, soccer star Abby Wambach, sports broadcaster Joe Buck, musician Benson Boone, NFL star Cooper Kupp, and Paulina Gretzky, daughter of hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, were all spotted arriving. Then there's a detail that connects the wedding to a much bigger world event nobody thought to link at first. A pre-wedding meeting most people never heard about. Kate Middleton and Prince William secretly met Swift and Kelsey ahead of their wedding, people reported. A future British monarch and his wife quietly meeting the couple before the big night, with almost nothing revealed about what was discussed. Food became its own subplot too. Two guests told NBC News the menu wasn't catered in a generic banquet style. It came from the couple's favorite New York City restaurants, and the party favors carried a callback nobody expected from a wedding that size. Guests reportedly went home with embroidered handkerchiefs stitched with their initials, alongside a line lifted straight from one of Swift's own songs. The raffle turned out to be one of the most talked about oddities of the entire night. Guests were invited to play games to earn entries into a raffle, with prizes that included multiple designer bags and a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle, the same car the couple rode in together on their first date. Nobody expected a classic muscle car to be a wedding party favor, but multiple guests confirmed the same detail independently. And running through nearly every account was one instruction guests kept repeating: don't bring anything. San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle said Swift and Kelsey told guests absolutely no gifts, though it's unclear how many guests actually complied. A billionaire and a professional athlete telling a room full of A-listers not to bother buying them anything, because the wedding itself was already the gift everyone in that room was going to remember. Behind every detail about music and dresses sat a much colder set of numbers, and those numbers tell their own story about how enormous this wedding actually was. Estimates on the total cost swung wildly depending on who you asked. Forbes had initially projected the event would run at least $20 million, which is probably on the low end. By the time guests started talking, industry insiders were revising that figure upward. Event designer Edward Parati told people the true number was likely far higher, explaining that stadium weddings carry hidden costs most people never think about. Union houses require navigating labor agreements and paying workers, creating a snowball effect that most people don't consider. His final estimate landed somewhere in the window of $35 million to $50 million. The venue rental alone reportedly wasn't cheap or discounted. The couple hosted about 1,000 guests and paid $3 million to book Madison Square Garden for at least 3 days, with an industry insider telling TMZ that Swift didn't get a special deal despite her history playing sold-out shows there. But the number that reframed the entire wedding wasn't about spending, it was about giving. In the days leading up to the ceremony, the couple quietly donated tens of millions of dollars. The couple gave $26 million to charity, with a spokesperson confirming the donations went to food banks, arts education charities, and pediatric cancer programs. One specific recipient went public about it herself. Dolly Parton, whose Imagination Library received $2 million, thanked the couple in a video posted to Instagram. Then there's the paperwork almost nobody was watching for, because it happened somewhere else entirely. Days before the ceremony, everyone saw. Multiple sources reported that the legal marriage didn't actually take place in New York at all. A source claimed to Page Six that Taylor and Travis got legally married in Nashville, Tennessee, where Taylor has 2 homes. The weekend before their wedding, the Madison Square Garden ceremony, by that account, was the celebration. The legal act itself happened quietly, in private, in a state Swift has called home since she was a teenager. Though their wedding was in New York City, the source confirmed Taylor and Travis didn't get married in New York State, and the couple reportedly had a small ceremony in Tennessee, where Taylor moved at 14 to start her music career. Jet tracking accounts filled in the days around that trip. Her plane made several stops on June 28 to cities where her and Travis's family members live, flying to Philadelphia after leaving Nashville, where Travis's dad and his brother Jason live. A quiet loop through family cities. Days before the public spectacle, everyone would eventually see. That legal filing is also where the prenup enters the story. And it's a bigger deal than most wedding prenups because of the numbers involved. Taylor's net worth is $2 billion, according to Forbes, while Travis's is $90 million. Insiders described her father, Scott Swift, a former financial advisor, as the one who oversaw the agreement's terms. One source described him bluntly: "He's a fist in a velvet glove, polite, charming, and incredibly warm, but when it comes to protecting his daughter and her business interests, nobody is sharper." Legal experts weighed in on what that kind of prenup likely looks like for someone in Swift's position. One attorney described it as almost certainly a title-based agreement, meaning everything in Taylor's name, now and in the future, will remain her separate property, a nod to the career she built, including intellectual property, song catalogs, and publishing income. But there was one carve-out experts kept flagging as unlikely to be restricted. Given who she is, she would likely not want provisions limiting her from singing about her relationship in songs, particularly since there is always so much speculation about the subjects of her songwriting. And while all of that legal groundwork was happening behind the scenes, the city itself was quietly marking the occasion in a way almost nobody connected until days later. The Empire State Building was illuminated entirely in blue following the ceremony, a nod to the bridal adage, "something blue." A 100-story building across town, lit up to match a wedding tradition, while most of Manhattan was still trying to figure out if the wedding had even happened yet. Once the marquee outside Madison Square Garden went dark and the tents came down, the story didn't stop, it just moved. And what happened in the days after the wedding tells you almost as much as the ceremony itself. The leaks kept trickling out, slower than a full reveal, but steady enough that new details surfaced almost daily. 3 days after the ceremony, one of the more personal touches finally reached the public. One of the couple's reported 1,000 guests briefly shared a screenshot of the digital wedding invitation on Instagram before quickly deleting it. That invite reportedly carried its own hidden detail: the guest's name watermarked in the background along with a custom double T monogram. Photos followed the same pattern: leak, confirm, delete. Outlets eventually obtained images that lined up with everything Aaron had described in his now-deleted post, right down to the peach and white draping and the tunnel of childhood photos. And with those images came a warning from inside the couple's circle about what happens to anyone who breaks the silence they'd fought so hard to maintain. One insider put it plainly, describing the stakes for any guest tempted to share more than they should. That trust, once broken with Swift, doesn't get rebuilt. Guests who did talk mostly stuck to safe territory. Decor, food, the raffle, the music. Nobody wanted to be the name attached to the leak that ended their invitation to the next one. But even with that pressure, small cracks kept appearing. A photo here, a quote there, a family member offering one warm sentence to a reporter outside a 4th of July event days later. Then attention shifted almost immediately to what comes after any wedding: the honeymoon. Reports named a stop most fans didn't see coming, a resort tied to the couple's own family history. One report describing it as reportedly costing an ultra-private destination following the couple's blockbuster July 3rd wedding ceremony at Madison Square Garden. Before any of that could happen, though, the newlyweds had one more public commitment on the calendar. Swift and Kelce were confirmed to attend the July 11 wedding of New York Giants wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and his fiancée, Laura Crook, held at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel, Orange County. After that, sources described a plan to disappear entirely. They have been planning this for weeks and have already informed friends and family that they will be off the grid during this time, an insider shared, adding that outside contact would be limited to emergencies only. One stop on that itinerary carried extra weight for the couple personally. Croatia will be a especially meaningful stop because of the couple's own ancestral connections to the country, with Taylor already loving that part of the world from a previous visit, and Travis excited to take her there. That trip has a deadline built into it too. The Kansas City Chiefs will open training camp on July 24, with their first fan open practice on July 29, which means whatever version of off the grid the couple manages to pull off, it has a hard stop written into an NFL calendar. What's left now is a stack of scattered details nobody was supposed to have: a license plate joke, a skyscraper turning blue, a comedian giving marriage advice at an altar, a legend singing a song he hadn't touched in decades, a legal ceremony in Tennessee that predated the one everyone watched for online. None of it came from the couple directly. All of it came from 1,000 people who signed a form promising to stay quiet, and mostly didn't. The wedding was built to be private. The details got out anyway, One deleted post, one careless photo, one proud mother's 4 words outside a 4th of July parade at a time.